Well, my brothers and sisters, today is Trinity Sunday, the day that we celebrate the divine mystery of our three-in-one God. Now, if you don't understand the Trinity, well, then you're in very good company, for it is indeed a challenging concept. There's an old question that asks, what do smart rectors make for Trinity Sunday? Vacation plans. It was funnier for everybody in the room. Sorry. But this year, my friends, preaching about the Trinity feels like taking the easy way out. And so I'm not going to talk about the Trinity. If you really have a burning desire to hear about the Trinity, email me and I'll send you a copy of last Trinity Sunday's sermon, which did talk in great detail about the Trinity. But life in 2020 presents us with so many challenges that I feel truly called to talk about other things. One of my pet peeves in life is hypocrisy. When we say one thing, but do another. Hypocrisy undermines our message and dilutes the impact of our statement on the listener. Yet, in spite of my dislike, I am just as guilty of it as any of us are. When I tell you that eating right and exercising is the best way to stay healthy, and then you see me at McDonald's scarfing down a Big Mac and fries, that, my friends, is hypocrisy. While it pains me to say it, even our own church can be hypocritical. We all saw the video last week of the president in front of St. John's Church in Washington. The way that he got to that spot was deplorable. There is no excuse for using pepper spray and rubber bullets on a peaceful crowd, a crowd who were within their right to assemble in the public square. And while that act was not and could never be acceptable, for many this was not the most damaging part. Instead, some were more outraged that the president would hold up a Bible and use our church as a prop in his marketing campaign. Recognize, however, that St. John's calls itself the Church of the Presidents. They boast that every president since James Madison has worshipped there, and they maintain a special president's pew only for the chief executive. Now, I'm not trying to single out just that parish, for we Episcopalians have a long history of boasting about our ties to temporal power. We delight in telling anyone who will listen that there have been 11 Episcopalian presidents. 11. And we relish the fact that the U.S. National Cathedral is an Episcopal church. Makes our hearts beat faster. We are, my friends, in a word, hypocritical when we call out the president for using us as a marketing tool when we have been doing the very same thing to the presidency itself for generations. Perhaps this incident will give us an opportunity to reflect on our relationship with power. As we sang in the hymn, lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Preach. Maybe this will cause us to think more clearly about how we balance our relationship with power and our call as disciples of Jesus Christ. I want to suggest that we may have missed an opportunity in our response to the president. I wonder what it would have looked like if we had said something like this. Mr. President, you are always welcome at this church, but you need to very clearly understand that everyone else is as well. The church is open to the poor and the rich, the empowered and the powerless, to all people of all races and at all times. For you to use the means you did to drive them away from this church is wrong and is antithetical to our purpose and to the teachings of Jesus Christ. But now that you're here, we would like to invite you to come inside. Don't just stand on the steps and pose for pictures. Come in and have a conversation with us. Meet our presiding bishop, a black man from Buffalo who grew up with a very different experience from yours. If you're willing to engage in a dialogue with him and with others, they can help you to understand their plight, and they want to work with you to have a civil and productive conversation about racism and about the killing of black men in police custody. We see that you have a Bible. Great. Bring it inside with you, and together, let's explore some passages that might just be of help to you. May we suggest you look to Genesis, where we see that we are indeed our brother's keeper. May we point you to the story of Moses, who wields great authority, but is cautioned to walk humbly with God. How about the story of the Good Samaritan? Perhaps the way that Jesus came not to the powers and principalities, but to the poor, the downtrodden and the sick, and those on the margins of society. The Bible you're holding has much to help all of us live lives of love in relationship with one another. Now, I will leave it to you to decide whether you think this would or would not have had an impact on President Trump, but I wonder if it would have been a teaching moment for the rest of us. Mm-hmm. Could we have used the spotlight this event gave us to demonstrate true discipleship and underscore that we want to be a participant in a sincere conversation about racism? Could we have shown the nation that we are serious when we say that everyone is our neighbor, even those who disagree with us? Could we have expanded the big tent that we like to boast about to truly include everyone? Even if it didn't reach the president, this message likely would have reached others, wouldn't it? We are living in unprecedented times. But you already know that. People have been asking me, why has God allowed this virus? What possible benefit could it have? And of course I tell them, and I tell you, I don't know. I don't have an answer. But lately I have been wondering if perhaps the virus has been the irritant that rubs us, just raw enough to finally see that we need to change the world. The fact that everybody has been impacted by the virus, well, that gave us a shared moment of unity, and then it quickly morphed into the understanding that we're not all impacted in the same way. But one thing is sure, no one is comfortable, and all of us are just a bit on edge. Maybe that discomfort is giving us a new lens with which we can see the injustice in our current world. We all saw the video of the killing of George Floyd, and it was gut-wrenching. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, it was awful. There should never be a death like that, especially at the hands of the police. Yet, black men die in police custody twice as often as white men. Perhaps now, in this pandemic-tempered world, we can finally say that enough is enough and begin to have a real dialogue about racism. It begins with listening, to help us understand that our life experience has not been shared by all. I'm a middle-class white kid from the suburbs. I was raised to respect the police, but never to fear them. Yet, black parents have to have different conversations with their children. And that was something that I never understood. We only learn such things from real listening. Listen, ponder, and then act. This is hard work. This is uncomfortable work. That's okay. It's supposed to be. Anything worth doing involves some pain. If you don't believe me, ask anyone who has gone through physical therapy. We're going to stumble. We're going to say the wrong thing. We're going to feel, just awkward and icky, and we're going to be afraid that we might offend someone. That is all part of a journey to understanding. But we are people of goodwill, and if we make a genuine effort to work through the discomfort together, maybe we can finally put the scourge of racism behind us. For Jesus doesn't call us to love only the people who look like us, or talk like us, or love like us. Jesus calls us to love our neighbor, and he is quite clear that everyone is our neighbor. But we can't love our neighbor if they live in fear of us, or in fear of the authorities that represent us. So let's finally take this opportunity to understand the fear so that together we can build a world beyond it. Now that task might sound impossible for us, but if it does, take heart, for we're not alone. At the end of Matthew's Gospel, Jesus reminds us, I am with you always to the end of the age. And so, brothers and sisters, secure in the knowledge that Jesus is standing right here with us, let's face the rising sun of that new day begun, and let us march on so that victory can